Breaking news! There's a storm brewing in Miami, and it's not just the weather. Behind the scenes, tension is rising, players are pushing harder than ever, coaches are feeling the pressure, and the front office, let's just say Chris Greer is still hanging by a thread when he should have been released long ago. But despite all the drama, despite the national media already writing us off, there's a fire brewing within this team, and what I discovered could change the entire narrative heading into 2025. But before we get into the raw truth, do me a favor, click that like button if you're a true Miami Dolphins fan who's been on this roller coaster for over 2 decades. It's incredible to see fans of all generations showing their love. If you love the Dolphins as much as I do, leave a comment right now. Go, Dolphins! My heart is all yours. Now buckle up, because what's happening in this locker room is setting the stage for a season that could shock the entire NFL. Let's go. Now let's get straight to the action, because there's a lot brewing in Davie, and it's not all sunshine. The first major storyline is the pass rush. And Dolphins fans, get hyped. This could be the most explosive front we've seen in years. The rotation of Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, Jalen Phillips, and Matthew Judon is terrifying. Not just promising, terrifying. Judon isn't here to cover or drop back. He's here to hunt quarterbacks. Pair that with Chop and Phillips attacking the edge and Seiler and Kenneth Grant plugging the interior. And this is a formula to ruin offensive lines across the league. And let's not forget Jordan Phillips stepping up, or the sneaky contributions of Willie Gay Jr. and Darius Brooks, both capable blitzers who bring speed and aggression off the second level. This group is built to destroy, and it's no coincidence. This team was 27th in sacks last season. That's abysmal. It had to change, and it has. You don't bring in Judon and spend capital on Chop Robinson without a very specific plan in place. Harass and punish every quarterback on the schedule, especially the mobile ones. And speaking of that, you think the Dolphins forgot what mobile QBs have done to us year after year? Nope. That's why this defense has been specifically constructed to put clamps on names like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert, and Michael Penix Jr. Enough is enough. This is about finally answering the one weakness that's haunted us for years. Pass rush is priority number 1, and it's about to become our biggest strength. Now let's talk about the secondary, specifically the safety room, and the huge buzz around Minkah Fitzpatrick. Yes, he's back, and all signs out of camp are lighting up green. He's been electric. Add in Ifeatu Melifonwu, who has the potential to be a major contributor if, and that's the big if, he stays healthy. Ashton Davis is another name to watch, a big hitter with versatility who can be a nickel, a blitzer, or even a quarterback spy. Imagine Davis or Minkah spying Josh Allen. You're no longer just watching, you're cracking him if he decides to take off. This safety unit isn't just fast, it's aggressive, and that's the attitude this team desperately needed. On offense, a new backfield is forming, and it's dangerous. Ollie Gordon, despite a limited preseason sample, ran like a man possessed. The moment he got banged up against the Jaguars, every fan held their breath, and then he said, "I'm going back in." That's the kind of dog mentality that changes locker rooms. Pair him with Devon Achane, who is looking more and more like a young Darren Sproles, and this becomes a backfield built for speed, versatility, and mismatches. Achane's looking like an 800-yard rusher and a 700-yard receiver. That's lethal. Throw in Jalen right once he's healthy, and the depth suddenly looks very real. Jeff Wilson's back too, and while he may not be the feature guy, he gives you veteran presence and red zone grit. It's a dynamic group, but here's something you won't hear enough. Mike McDaniel is coaching for his job. That's not an exaggeration, it's the raw truth, and that alone should bring intensity like we haven't seen before. If this team stumbles again, McDaniel isn't safe, not even close, and while some think Greer will use him as a scapegoat, maybe not, the reality is if this regime fails again, they could both be gone. This is the last dance, and that means McDaniel has to be sharp. Time management, play calling, adjustments, he doesn't get to make rookie mistakes anymore. He's got Frank Smith, Darrell Bevel, and Bobby Slowick around him. Lean on them. This has to be his smartest season yet. But it's not just coaching. The players feel it too. There's a new energy around this locker room, and you can see it. At one practice, 20 players stayed late. Next practice, 30 did. At training camp, guys did push-ups after drills. Quinn stayed on the field working solo. There's hunger here. Listen to guys like Alec Ingold and Brooks. The tone is different. This team knows it's do or die, and they're acting like it. Anthony Weaver is back for year 2 as defensive coordinator. His debut season, 4th in yards allowed, 10th in points, but 27th in sacks and no turnovers. Imagine what happens if this defense does start generating takeaways. Imagine pressure from Chubb, Chop, Phillips, and Judon turning into strip sacks. Imagine the secondary with Minkah taking away deep threats. This could be a top 5 unit, easy. If that happens, the offense doesn't need to score 35 every game. They just need to be efficient, and they can be. Why? Because Tua Tagovailoa has everything to prove. And when Tua's got something to prove, he steps up. Say what you want about the inconsistencies, but the kid bounces back. He learns. He works. He takes the heat and comes back better. If he protects the ball and plays smart, especially against the elite teams like the Bills, Ravens, and Bengals, there's no reason this team can't beat anyone. This is a playoff caliber roster. No more excuses. And yet, the media doesn't believe. ESPN left the Dolphins completely off their playoff projections. Completely. Some analysts have Miami picking top 5 in next year's draft. Imagine that. That's disrespect at the highest level. But it might be exactly what this team needs. Because every time this franchise has had sky-high expectations, they've face-planted. But no expectations? No spotlight? That's when this team surprises people. It's the classic underdog mindset, and right now, the Dolphins are flying under the radar. Because here's where things get even more intriguing. If this is the year it all clicks, then let's talk about what that looks like week to week. Let's break down how this season might actually play out if all these puzzle pieces start fitting together, and more importantly, how realistic that really is. Let's start with the pass rush again. If Chubb, Chop, Phillips, and Juden stay healthy and rotate at full force, it means opposing quarterbacks are going to spend most of the game running for their lives. That alone changes the dynamic of every game. Quarterbacks like Justin Herbert and Josh Allen, who have historically been a nightmare for us, won't have the time to carve up the field. And that helps the secondary do what they do best. Minkah Fitzpatrick, when allowed to roam free in a pressured pocket situation, becomes a turnover machine. That's what we lacked last year, momentum-shifting plays. Big-time sacks, strip fumbles, tip drill interceptions. If we start seeing that in the first few games, we'll know this defense is finally elite. But more than that, this defensive aggression forces other offenses to go one-dimensional. And that's where the linebackers come in. Willie Gay Jr. can fly. Brooks can hit. Dodson brings that downhill energy. With a front seven that gets consistent penetration and linebackers who can actually finish plays, we'll finally stop getting gashed on third and long scrambles and broken tackle runs. It sounds simple, but this alone could be the difference in 2 or 3 games, and in this league, that's the difference between 8-9 and 11-6. Now, let's flip to the offense, because this is where the Dolphins either go deep into January or watch from the couch. First things first, Ollie Gordon has to stay healthy. If he does, he and a chain could be one of the most lethal duos in the NFL. Gordon brings that physical, relentless, ground and pound style. A chain adds speed and unpredictability. Together, they can keep defenses off balance all game long. You add in Jalen Wright once he returns, and suddenly we're talking about a 3-headed monster with real rotation potential, a backfield that can grind out games, move the chains, and dominate time of possession. That's key. Because if the Dolphins' offense can control the clock, it reduces pressure on the defense, allows the pass rush to stay fresh, and keeps the opposing offense cold on the sideline. That's complementary football, something Miami hasn't played in a long, long time. Now let's talk about Mike McDaniel. If he truly coaches like his job is on the line, and it is, then we should expect smarter football. Fewer abandoned run games, better clock management, more balanced play calling. If McDaniel embraces help from Bevel and Smith, leans into analytics and game flow, and stops forcing deep shots when they're not there, then this offense becomes more mature and more effective. That alone could fix a lot of late-game collapses we saw last season. And yes, Tua is at the heart of all of this. If this is the version of Tua who's dialed in, focused, and healthy, and not trying to play hero ball every drive, this team is dangerous. He's got the weapons. Hill and Waddle still strike fear in every